Testing, testing. Not sure if I am actually live, but guess we'll find out in a minute. It looks like I am. Double check this. There's the chat. Yeah. Okay, cool. Something went wrong. Why did something go wrong? Yeah, looks like I am live. Okay. So, tonight I'm running Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Return to Keep on the Borderlands. This is what the cover looks like. Yep. So that's what I'm prepping. Um, they have gone to a cave that doesn't really have a map in the adventure, and there's not even really a good description for it. This is the 25th anniversary re-release update to the famous Advanced Dungeons and Dragons introductory module B2 Keep on the Borderlands. Interestingly, it takes place 25 years after the events of B2 Keep on the Borderlands, and it has advanced the plot in the area as far as what happened to the tribes that were in the area after the original adventuring party came through. So some, like the lizard folk, are still there in less numbers, but they're elsewhere. And there's gnolls, but the gnolls, their objectives are different than they were in in the original. So what's on the screen currently is the old lizard folk den, and it doesn't have lizard folk in it currently. So the party is trying to explore it. They fought some giant frogs on the outside, and just try to share and push out this link. See if I can get a couple people maybe in here. Um, so I'm going to look at B2. I have a physical copy of B2. I have a physical copy of Return to Keep on the Borderlands, as well as the PDF. So I have the PDF up on my third monitor, and then I'm going to flip through B2 and see if I can come up with a map for what it looks like inside the caves, inside that cave. Just try to push out that stream to a couple people. Also, we can, I could talk about whatever else. I had a session last night that was very interesting. Fifth edition party ended up TPKing against the Death Tyrant. They were level 12, and the Death Tyrant in its lair proved to be too much. We ended up with two petrified characters, two disintegrated characters, and one who was just beaten to death by other monsters in the area. So I'm not sure how entertaining the stream will actually end up being. But if you guys say anything in the chat, I have that up. And otherwise, I am just trying to find the lizard cave in the original module. Here it is, Mound of the Lizard Men. The streams and pools of the fens are the home to a tribe of exceptionally evil lizard men. Being nocturnal, this group is known to the residents of the keep unknown, and they will not bother individuals moving about in daylight unless they set foot on the mound under which the muddy burrows and dens of the tribe are found. One by one, males will come out of the marked opening and begin attacking the party. Uh, so that's not going to happen though because there's no lizard folk currently in it. In the lair is another male, three females, eight young, hidden under the nest. There's a bunch of money, healing potions. Hmm. Area map of encounter layers. I don't. Maybe even in the old B2 there aren't maps of the lizard folk area, and a lot of AD&D was supposed to be run Theater of the Mind anyway, so that you didn't really have a map per se, and if you had a map, usually the players would draw it out as you described it, and then if there were maps, usually they were just for very important areas like the keep or the caves of chaos. So I think ultimately I'm just gonna have to probably theater the mind this map, and I just need some kind of an idea as to what it might look like, and then uh, how many frogs are in there and where they are currently located. So when I look at the module, I guess I could drag it back over here. That'll be more entertaining probably than just looking at the blank screen. I've highlighted a lot of the important things. So let's see. They are doing. Not the lizardmen though. It's actually under the giant frogs because they took up residence in the. So what I'm looking at is this section here. A low muddy mound rising a few feet above the surrounding swamp marks the former site of the lizardmen community. Lizardmen themselves have fled deeper into the swamp as a result of harassment by adventurers and forces from the keep. And the abandoned tunnels and lair is now the home of a number of giant frogs that have taken over the dens of their burrows for their burrows. Human-sized amphibians are always hungry, attempting to eat anything they encounter. Characters poking around the river edge of the swamp will encounter a solitary wandering frog. Those who venture deeper into the swamp will enter into packs of 2 to 6. A total of some 30 giant frogs inhabit the mound. If they somehow manage to slay that many, then no more encounters. So it doesn't seem like the party is supposed to go into the den, which is probably why there isn't actually um, a map for it. They killed 4 giant frogs last time, and they killed one another time. So that means there's 25 more that would be inside the den. Now, not all 25 need to be inside the den. So I'm thinking, I'm gonna move that away again. I'm gonna push out that link to a couple more places, I think. Just see if I can get a couple more people. Um, so thank you for hanging out with me. I was working for a bit. Decided to take a break for, like, I don't know, hour or so. It's like, short rest in a, say, D&D or something. And, uh, just live stream my prep for tonight. Um, all right, there we go. For some reason, I couldn't find the folder that I wanted to put that in, and I'll throw it into this one too. And do I want to throw it into there? No, I don't think so. Okay, that's enough of that. So I'm going to change to a blank map, create page. I want to give this page background color. So we're going to give it a cave colored background. Let's go with something like this maybe. Okay. And I'm just going to kind of draw out what I think the cave might look like. Do it in black line and freehand, pen line. I think for this freehand might be better. We'll put the entrance. We'll give them a little bit of room outside. No, I'm gonna actually make it all inside the cave. It's not gonna be very wide. Maybe, maybe it's like 10 feet wide. It opens up a little bit into maybe this kind of a chamber. Um, and then it's going to have offshoots, I think, from there. So maybe we have an offshoot going that way. This one maybe could kind of loop around. And it's probably going to go to like a bigger area where you might have some uh, like a brood in there. Let's have a path go off this way. And maybe this one splits too. Maybe it splits something like that. And realistically, I'm just going to use this map for like general positioning. It's not going to be like a very specific like counting squares. AD&D doesn't really require um, so much with the counting squares, but that'll open up into another burrow where we can have some more frogs. And I'm gonna have, oops, I could delete that one. And I think this is probably just going to be a very simple map. I mean, it was just a lizard folk den, so I don't think it needs to be very elaborate. Maybe there's one more burrow up here, and in addition to that burrow, we do one more side passage that comes out something like that. Yeah, I think that's cool. So there is our muddy giant frog den. And then I have to just place out the giant frogs. So I have one, two, three, four, five dens. There's 25 frogs total. There's 5 players in the group. So I don't think all the frogs would be home. I don't think all the frogs would be home. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll. I like when the dice tell a story sometimes. So let's let's roll a d6 and see how many frogs are in that first den. One. Okay. Maybe. That might not be enough. Let's roll for this one up here. See how many frogs are in that den. 6. Okay. And that's a much bigger den, so that makes sense that it would have more. And that also makes that a much more challenging room. Another thing that's possible is that the original 4 that came out that the party fought might have come from this room. Or was it 3? Did they fight 3 or 4? I think it was 4 though. Pretty sure it was 4. Yeah, so we'll put 6 up in this. Put one more. Maybe this one is like here. Okay. I suppose another thing that I could do, if they have the like a set number of hit points, which I think these do have 15 hit points each. So another thing that I could have done, and I could do it now, is if I put 15, um, and then if I put their armor class in, their armor class is 7. Oops, it doesn't go on that side though. It goes over here, I think. And I could put their Thaco. Their Thaco is different though. I think I'm gonna put it though anyway. 16. They do have 12 with their tongue, and the Thaco might not mean much to anybody who doesn't know AD&D. But essentially, you take the Thaco number, in this case 16, and you subtract it from the die roll, and then that's the armor class that you hit. So for example, if I roll a d20 here, 15. So 16 minus 15 is 1. So I would hit armor class 1. To put that into AD&D terms, that would hit most characters. Um, if you had full plate mail and a shield, you would have armor class 0. And Thaco is based around what number you need to roll to hit that, like, it's not even the best armor class in the game, but like what would be the standard best armor class of 0. So um, getting a 15 is very close, obviously, um, to what I needed. Now, the other thing is, say, with the tongue was Thaco 12. If you take 12 and subtract 15, you get -3. So with the tongue, it would have hit armor class -3, which, a character would need some hefty magic armor in order to be missed by that. I see. Current viewer 0. Okay. Well, anyway, if I do that and then save default, save changes, now what it'll do for me is I will. Did I put that in the wrong side? I guess I did. Right, because if I put a value but I don't put a max, then it has no bar, but it will tell me. Is that how that works? Yeah, okay, I did it backwards. Wait, why did it? It changed it back on me though. Okay, good. Because now I can click on it and it will tell me its armor class and its THAC0. And now that I did update default token, I can actually go through and remove these six. But then oh, something else that I need to do. I'm gonna drag this guy over here. Is to change the layer to the map layer so that I stop accidentally grabbing um, um, okay. So now when I drop these out, you'll see they come with their hit point bar and all the information that I need to run them. So this will make my life easier when I run them tonight because I have all the THACOs, their hit points I can track on the VTT. Sometimes I track that on, actually, usually I've been tracking it on my boogie board. Love that thing, by the way. It's very handy for um, all right. So next room, how many enemies am I going to put in there? That's a pretty big room too. Four. That's good. That's a good amount. This is a big room. Let's put one way in the back. Let's put one kind of up in that corner maybe. Put one here and put one. I have a feeling that they probably tend towards the walls. We'll put one here. Yeah. Okay. And then the next room, how many more do we have to do? That's 7, 11. Yeah, I think we'll keep doing D6. Um, 4 more. Okay. I mean, 4 is a good encounter. That encounter with 1 is probably lackluster. But the AD&D parties, their healing is very slow. And a couple giant frogs can really mess them up. So it's likely, depending on how they go about this, that they're going to have to retreat anyway. But, um, one more thing that I'm going to end up having to do with this map. Well, there's two ways I could go about it. I could put the frogs in the GM layer, or I can fog of war. But I think I'm just going to fog of war. I could go through and draw in all the dynamic lighting for that, but I feel like that's a lot of work for something that isn't really necessary. One more room. So we've got 10, 15, there's 25 total. I think having at least 5 out in the wild is good, so I could just do another room of 4. Um, let's see what the dice say. 2. Um, all right, so let me put those 2, and then I'm just going to do the math quick and see where we're at as far as the number of enemies. And then I think the rest of my short rest is going to actually be having lunch. So, hey, welcome to the view stream. We're making an AD&D map for tonight. So the party is going into the old lizard folk den, and it's now inhabited by a bunch of giant frogs. The module says that there's 30 total. The party's killed 5 of them, so there's 25 left. And I don't think that they should all be in the den currently, so it's likely that some of um, some of them aren't. which also allows me to use giant frogs in the future. Um, and really, four of them is a challenge for the party. So, like the one room that has six is definitely going to be challenging. And if they were to like draw down the entire dungeon at this point, it would be rough. If if they don't go down these smaller side tunnels first, it will also cause, I would think, these ones to kind of do something like this and try to trap them in the middle. But if there's only three, it'll be easier for them to get away. So kind of interesting the way that the dice helped build this. Um, Now, how many do we have total? That's six, and four is 10, and four is 14, and two is 16, 17. Five are dead, so that leaves eight frogs. Yeah, I think that's fine. That'll leave eight frogs that um, I can I can use for various things in the future. And then the final thing that I would need to do is, I think it's here. Okay. And now I should be able to reveal area. Yeah, yeah. And I mean, realistically, they would probably see more than that, but this will let me mask stuff without drawing in all the dynamic lighting layer. So that's it. Our map is done. We're ready for tonight. And thanks for anybody that's hung out with me during this stream. Until next time, keep rolling with us.